CEO Hugo Chavez may include dead 6 years ago, but he is yet observer above the Venezuelan equity. Where you go, you place abstraction images of his eyes graffitied on buildings. In the impoverished neighborhood of 23 de Enero, in the east of Caracas, his present is though more. It was there how the ex-lead organized a unsuccessful coup try in 1992. It is named as a conventional Chavista fortress. Chavez graffiti and promotion are pulverized onto lot aside. Marcos Lobos, 58, is one of Hugo Chavez's largest fans. He lives in a 14-floor unit of flats how is missed by the barracks wherever Chavez start up his coup and wherever the deceased lead was laid down to otherwise following moribund of carcinoma in 2013. Unborn and driven up in 23 de Enero, Mr. Lobos' whole household lives in the identical unit. On the house's front line side, down there's a template how reads, Chavez, the cardiac of my motherland. Marcos shows me the Chavez angle in the residing chamber. Over the TV, down there are many decades of pictures of the ex-lead. In several he is in his president outfit, in else he is followed by Cuba's former president Fidel Castro. And in the medium of the side, down there is a watch, in Mr. Chavez's person on it. He was more than rather than an icon, he provided expect and yet does since his ideas were revolutionist, Mr. Lobos says. He was all on public equity and judiciary. He outdoor our eyes, created a domestic consciousness on how to get Venezuelan policy to the human beings. You may as well be concerned in, his woman, Myrna, clock in, up, it was all on the wealthy human beings, politically strong human beings, and we had anything, she says. Chavez favored us. Human beings mind how while Chavez dead, we'd be buried in him but not, she says. Addition, how Nicolas Maduro is the child of Hugo Chavez, so they are produced to struggle to hold him. It's not Maduro's error, she says, of the profound economical meltdown Venezuela is cladding. Instead of she holds the imperial power accountable, a link to the US, that the Maduro by the government says has destroyed the economics via its sanctions regime and via its opposition to Mr. Maduro's socialistic by the government. The entire household blames it for support Mr. Maduro's critics. The opposition has undertaken all of us, she adds. But though in the Profi Chavez neighborhood, the household is proper more than in isolation. Human beings are more outdoor on show their dissatisfaction. CEO Maduro's adoption ratings soar at about 20%. So though if Mr. Maduro is Hugo Chavez's child, is he as nice a lead? Marcos's mom Teresa pauses and later says no. Maduro is Maduro, Chavez was thing very specific, she says. Yet those who say they aren't in Maduro were never Chavistas supporters of Hugo Chavez, since we Chavistas include to stay in Maduro, she says. We include to supporting him since he's Chavez's heritage. On to Heinz Dieterich, a ex-advisor to Hugo Chavez, Mr. Maduro has ruined Mr. Chavez's heritage. Mr. Dieterich advocated which is named as 21st century socialism, a mark behalf how CEO Chavez adoptee for his policy. So how do the two men comparison? Maduro became Machiavellian and the just item how matters to him is suspended onto force. He's be a bourgeois invader in a left reasoning. Maduro doesn't fare absence Chavez marrow, but his ethical too much, Mr. Dieterich says. Yet down there are yet Venezuelans who trust in Chavismo. Mr. Dieterich puts how downward to CEO Maduro's promotion. While you include a lie car, you program human beings, he says. They don't see the facts over, they fair construe things via the country's site, newspeak and all else. The facts is counterfeit news story. It's a thought how you discover in sectarian fundamentalists, he argues. They don't construe the planet for which it is, but via their Bible site. Down there's no way of change how. How explains how lot human beings who believed in Hugo Chavez and saw a next and a heaven in Hugo Chavez refuge controlled to see Maduro in his real historical feeling. Through city, in the spreading slum of Pater, in the east of Caracas, an occasion is creature put on in the behalf of world and versus imperialistic. Everyone is waiting Mr. Maduro to visit. A artist is belt out a melody how human beings are dancing to. We don't wish to be a polar a settlement, they song, a dig at the growing blood pressure upcoming of the US for Mr. Maduro to move towards. In the crowds, human beings are tiring t-shirts in Hugo Chavez's eyes published on the front line. Other are voiced their supporting for Nicolas Maduro. Lot are tiring the hacks form of Venezuela's civilian police. Iván Bravo is one of them. The US wants the nation's riches but they requirement to shoot their tentacles of Venezuela, she says. Down there are soldier female there who are prepared to protect the coup and our CEO Maduro. Nicolas Maduro's supporters go on to else chant, Vamos Nico, Alaus go Nico. It is a rallying cry for these human beings to hold support their man in these hard times. It is a loyal mob but their numbers are shrinking.